Good time, please, because at 2 o'clock choir, we are all going to be heading back to our seats. Everybody who changed seats, please, everybody take note of who you're sitting next to, which row you're in, and come right back to where you are sitting now. There are a few lunches that have not had a chance to be delivered to the appropriate bus. So if we could have two representatives from the Richfield Corral, please meet this bus right over here, the first one that you see, the silver one. Please come, and two large men, if you could please take the lunches for your group and bring it down to your bus. We also have the Washington International Chorus, whose lunch is still on that bus, as well as one box for the West Los Angeles and the Voce Choir. So if we could have two large men, please come to the bus, and we'll just strong, sorry, not large, but strong. And trying to be politically correct here. And grab the lunches for your group. That would be fantastic. Thank you all so much. You've done a fantastic job. We're looking forward to the concert.
There's so much. Put all tables in one pile. Either then ask you to back up, or there's a mix of yeah, just put like all the mic cable, all the speaker cable. Also, there's just like a ton more cable out there today, and speakers and everything. So if you could do your initial backup duty and then go wrap cables, please, that's a lot of help. And the long cable, make it a narrow loop, otherwise the Velcro's not going to go around. We won't have enough room in the trunk. Okay, thank you. Oh, wow.
Okay, so no glasses. Thanks. See you in about an hour and 10 minutes. Wear this hat. You can wear your flight hat. That's like better. Obviously, cases need to get clear the stage as well. Besides. No, Eric is in here, so he's just playing. Dave, sorry for all your hassle. Let's look out. DPR board.
Don't give him a point.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. To kick off, Raise It Up, a celebration to honor our nation's flag, the Star-Spangled Banner, and the national anthem that it inspired. And now, please welcome your MC, host of Seriously Amazing Objects on the Smithsonian Channel, Xavier Carnegie.
Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Pretty good? Great. Well, I want to welcome you all to your National Museum of American History and to Anthem for America. My name is Xavier. Today, we are celebrating our national and international Flag Day sing-along for the 200th anniversary of our Star-Spangled Banner. That's right, 200 years ago this year, Francis Scott Key wrote the words to a poem, The Defense of Fort McHenry, and set it to a British tune, the Anacreontic Song, and together they form our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Here at the National Museum of American History, we explore America's history through collections, research, and public outreach. We help people understand the past to better make sense of the present and to shape a more humane future. And we're hoping that our program will be able to do much of that by bringing the nation together around our national anthem. And by the way, we're not just bringing people together here in Washington, D.C. on the National Mall, but also all over our country and indeed world. I'd like to send a special welcome to our streaming audience who's watching us via YouTube, Ustream, and ESPN3. Welcome to all of you. And speaking of bringing people together, it's very appropriate that our opening conductor is well known for bringing together singers from all over the world with his infamous and very well done virtual choir projects. I'd like you all to join me in thanking Grammy-winning composer, Mr. Eric Whitacre. Also, let me introduce you all to today's choir. I gotta tell you, these guys are great, and I had a lot of fun with them earlier today at rehearsal. They're organized by the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts, Chorus America, and Classical Movements. 400 voices from 45 states, aged 9 to 81. Let's give them a hand. We'd also like to thank our men and women in the United States Air Force. Now, as you guys can see, we have the United States Air Force Band and singing sergeants with us today. But they're not only performing. If you look at all the things that you see up here, much of it that's being run behind the scenes is also being done by men and women of our United States Air Force. So please recognize them with a hand. Also, we'd like to thank the National Park Service. Without them, we wouldn't have this beautiful National Mall towards which to orient our performance. And also, at Park Service sites all over the country, folks are watching us online, so please recognize them. And you guys are in for some really good performances today, and many of them were made possible by our friends at Wool and Tusk Management. Please give them a big hand. All right. Now, to help us kick off this event, I'd like to welcome our esteemed first speaker. Please welcome the 12th Secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, Dr. Wayne Clough.
Good afternoon. Great day. Enjoying it? Well, welcome to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, your museum. Thank you for all coming to help us celebrate the grand 200th anniversary of one of our nation's most iconic objects, the Star-Spangled Banner. Today, on Flag Day, we celebrate in word, song, and performance. Today, we lift every voice and sing. I want to thank the many talented performers who are here with us today, especially this gifted choir behind me, composed of singers from sea to shining sea. Let's give them a hand. And thanks also to the U.S. Air Force Concert Band who represent our brave men and women serving around the world. Let's give them applause. Many thanks to our Undersecretary for History, Art, and Culture, Richard Curran, to Deputy Director of this museum, Sue Fruchter, and all my colleagues who are participating and helped us organize this wonderful event. Thanks go to our friends and supporters, especially our friends at the National Park Service, the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, Wool and Tusk, Chorus America, and Classical Movements, who worked so hard with us to make this day special for all of us. The Star-Spangled Banner was born in Baltimore. We are honored to welcome the former mayor of Baltimore and current governor of the great state of Maryland, the Honorable Martin O'Malley, as well. He'll be speaking shortly, as well as Bert Comereau, director of the Maryland Historical Society. And we thank both of them for the loan of the Francis Scott Key's original manuscript, displayed today here with the flag for the first time in our history. Opera singer Renee Fleming's Vera Wong gown, worn when she sang the national anthem during the 2014 Super Bowl, is also on display, and we thank Renee. Every day, millions of flags fly in big cities, in small towns like the one where I came from, all across our nation. They hang on front porches and storefronts, schools, military bases, museums, cities, state and federal buildings. Small children carry them in big parades. I even have a flag that was carried in outer space by a friend of mine who was an astronaut. Our military men and women carry them into battle. They mark the graves of the fallen at Arlington National Cemetery, Gettysburg National Cemetery, and the American Cemetery in Normandy, France. We salute our flag and what it means. We salute those who defend it and those who live up to it. Everything those flags stand for everywhere is symbolized by one flag here, and that is the Star-Spangled Banner. It is here, but we at the Smithsonian don't own it. You own it, the American people. We take care of it, and we have for more than a century. We preserve it and display it for the American people and visitors from around the world who seek to understand our country, our culture, and its great history. As one of our curators here once said, there's an accurate perception that we are forever, that we will care for an object eternally. This is a sacred trust we at the Smithsonian take seriously because we owe it to the American people. We tell America's stories, stories of courage, of struggle, sacrifice, and triumph. Our scholars and experts will use the latest technology and techniques to keep this flag alive for generations to come. So your children and your children's children can learn from the lessons it teaches all of us. You can see it here today. You can visit it anytime online. Please do. It's your flag. It's part of the history and fabric of our country. For even more information on this important time in our history, please explore our online exhibition from our National Portrait Gallery, 1812, The Nation Emerges. And tonight at 9 p.m. on the Smithsonian Channel, don't miss out on the Star-Spangled Story, Battle for America, with insights from curators from this museum. Historian David McCulloch once wrote, "History shows us how to behave. History teaches and reinforces what we believe in, what we stand for, what we ought to be willing to stand up for. History is, or should be, the bedrock of patriotism, not the chest-pounding kind of patriotism, but the real thing, love of country." His words stand the test of time. Thank you for being with us today, and enjoy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. You know, thanks to the work of Secretary Clough and many others, the Smithsonian Institution is using this opportunity, this wonderful Flag Day celebration, to bring the nation together. And there are a lot of people helping us out with this celebration, including 115 national partners, organizations such as the AARP, Capital Girl Scout Council, Veterans of Foreign Wars. There really are too many others to name, in 30 states and 2 countries, hosting 86 watch parties. And many of these watch parties are hosted also by some of our 200 Smithsonian Institution affiliates. Added to that, at 600 Macy's stores across the country, people will be joining us to sing along. That means that from Sumner, Washington, the rhubarb pie capital, to the U.S. consulate in Basra, Iraq, there could be folks that you know all around the globe singing with us today at 4 o'clock p.m. We want to thank all of them for joining us. I hope you guys are ready. Are you? Are you tired of hearing me talk? I think that's what you're really saying to me. I think it's time for another performance. So I'd like to do that by welcoming again our choir and also welcoming the United States Air Force Band and singing sergeants to perform the Battle Hymn of the Republic, commanded and conducted by Colonel Larry H. Lang. That was great, everyone. Thanks a lot. Much like Julia Wardhouse's words in the battle hymn, the Star-Spangled Banner has lyrics that inspire us all. And we want to join with that inspiration by having the Star-Spangled Banner inspire us to something. And we'd like you to take a turn in joining in that inspiration as well. Now, I know that there are people watching us all over the country, all over the world, and there are a lot of you here watching under the sound of my voice. And many of you are going to be taking lots of pictures and taking lots of video of this event and of your various watch parties. What we'd like you to do is share those photos and videos with us online. While you're there, you can also check out our interactive Banner Yet Waves timeline. It features artists like Aloe Black, Train, Angie Johnson, and all of these artists have worked with us, the Smithsonian, to craft their own special versions of the Star-Spangled Banner in celebration of this great occasion. It's really, really nice. I've seen lots of those videos, so please make sure that you check it out. And it's very easy to do. All of the instructions and information that you need is on our website, anthemforamerica.smithsonian.com. Now, speaking of the wonderful artists in our timeline, many of them come from long-standing traditions in American music, and our next performer fits with that tradition. She is part of the historic legacy of the Carter family. She has the bloodline of legends such as Mother Maybelle Carter and June Carter Cash. After nearly a century of their first recordings, she makes sure that that circle remains unbroken. So please welcome recording artist Carlene Carter.
Thank you. Hi. This is a little song that's about what it was like for me growing up as a little girl and traveling around with Mother Maybelle and the Stephen Carter sisters. My little story. In my grandma's house, her children would sing. Guitars are twanging and laughter would ring. I was little, but I was the biggest kid. I wanted to do what the grown-ups did. In an epic shiny car, we'd head down the road, sing for the miners who brought out the coal anytime. Slept on the floorboards cold, on a quilt. My little sister, the wildwood rose. And if I could change a thing in this world, I'd go back to the days Grandma and her girls were seen and sweet and in love. For me and the wildwood rose, we'd be way down the road by the break of dawn. Biscuits and gravy and a truck stop song in a world on my own. I I saw what I saw in the rearview mirror. I'd get a wink from my grandma, and if I could change a thing in this world, I'd go back to the days Grandma and her girls were singing sweet and low. For me and the wildwood rose, hailing home, hailing home. Wailing, oh, I'll always remember the day that she died. My daddy called me and he started to cry, and I rode on an airplane with all of my pain, and my tears would not stop. We stood in a circle and sang, will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Y'all want to sing it with me? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky, in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Thank you all. It was an honor to be here. Let's have a great Flag Day. Woo-hoo!
The gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn, turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round, round.
Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round, round.
We want to thank the United States Air Force Band and singing sergeants for that special arrangement of the Shaker tune, Simple Gifts, featuring vocal soloist, Master Sergeant Emily Wellington. Let's give them and her a hand. Now, for those of you here in Washington, if you're out on the mall, you might see, and probably already have seen, some of our many volunteers who are working together to help give people information, get them where they need to go, direct them to the opening of our museum where you can go in. And I really want to recognize them for coming forward and helping us with this wonderful event. Can you please give them a big hand? An easy way to find them is they have the words "Raise It Up" in a stylized version of the 15-star and striped Star-Spangled Banner flag on the front of their shirts. And that design was done for us by the Martin Agency. I would like to recognize them as well, and also their president, John Adams, who's also a member of the board here at the National Museum of American History. So let's give them a hand as well. Here at the National Museum of American History, we are the stewards of America's history, and also of the Star-Spangled Banner flag, which is sometimes known as the Great Garrison flag. Now, some of you are looking at me a little strange, but you did hear my words correctly. The flag that is sung about in the Star-Spangled Banner is right inside of this building behind me. There are people, as we speak, looking at it right now in an exhibition. And when we're done here, you all can take the opportunity to go around to our open entrance, go inside the museum, see all of the wonderful collections we have to play, but also see that Star-Spangled flag, the flag talked about in our national anthem. When Francis Scott Key saw that same flag flying 200 years ago, he was inspired to handwrite a poem in a manuscript. And believe it or not, that manuscript is also on display in this building inside the National Museum of American History, the original 1814 manuscript of our national anthem. The stewards of that manuscript are the Maryland Historical Society. And now I would like to introduce you all to the president and CEO of the Maryland Historical Society. He is a singular historian and interpreter, and it is largely due to his efforts that the manuscript and the flag have been brought together for the first time in 200 years. As a matter of fact, probably closer to each other than they've ever been before. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Bert Kummerow.
How exciting it is to be here amidst all this great American music, and particularly the legendary Carter family. That's very, very exciting. Good afternoon, everyone, this wonderful, glorious day, this Flag Day, we at the Maryland Historical Society are honored to be sharing our Star-Spangled Banner manuscript written by Francis Scott Key on September 16th, 1814. Today, as these two American icons, a giant flag and a tiny document, are joined for the very first time, I have a short story to tell you. No one in Baltimore knew what to expect when dawn broke on September 14th, 1814. The night had been stormy, violent. Enemy British ships, so-called bomb vessels, named Meteor, Volcano, Etna, and Devastation, had been lobbing 200-pound exploding bombs at Fort McHenry for 20 hours straight. Screaming rockets were lighting up the gloomy darkness. The Americans were returning fire from gun batteries lining the shore. It had been quite a show for Baltimore, noisy, terrifying, and hypnotic. Every American within range, soldier, or private citizen was watching anxiously from roof and hilltop alike. The future of Baltimore and perhaps the young United States Republic itself were hanging in the balance. Ever since 1812, when the U.S. had declared war against the world's strongest nation, the fast-growing port of Baltimore and the Chesapeake Bay community had been prime targets. In the hot, stormy summer of 1814, nightmares came true. The U.S. Capitol and the White House went up in flames. The U.S. President fled for his life from the invading redcoats, and now it was Baltimore's turn. City residents knew that the British would show no quarter if they entered the city. Fast Baltimore clippers, privateers, had been preying on enemy merchant ships throughout the entire war. The city would be left in ruins if the invaders succeeded. 2 days earlier, desperate fighting at North Point had killed the British general. And faced with 15,000 entrenched and determined defenders with 100 cannons, the enemy land attack had already failed. But would Fort McHenry, guarding the harbor, fall under the fierce naval bombardment? Would Redcoat Marines soon be in Baltimore streets with burning torches? First light brought curiosity, nerves, and hope. Thousands of eyes peered at the point of land in the distance. Suddenly, cheers started swelling up throughout the harbor. The flag was still there. One volunteer summed up the many tears of joy. We were filled with exultation at beholding the stars and stripes still floating in the breeze. Another witness watched from the British fleet, where he was detained after negotiating the release of prisoners under a flag of truce. Francis Scott Key, a successful 35-year-old lawyer in the new national capital, was also a gentleman poet. Within 2 days, he had put pen to paper, vividly describing in 4 verses the well of emotions everyone felt at this very unlikely victory. Set to a popular club song called The Defense of Fort McHenry, it was picked up by newspapers all over America and became the Star-Spangled Banner within a month. The humble Mr. Key had a simple explanation for his achievement. In that hour of deliverance and joyful triumph, the heart spoke. Does not such a country and such defenders of their country deserve a song? That song, forever identified with the giant flag that inspired it, remained popular, especially during public ceremonies. And in 1931, more than a century after the war that inspired it, President Herbert Hoover signed the bill that made it our national anthem. And today, we are celebrating the winding 200-year journey that has brought a tiny piece of paper and a giant flag together for the very first time. We celebrate the families of the 1814 defenders that saved these precious icons in their Baltimore homes throughout the 19th century. The flag was displayed, hanging on buildings, souvenir pieces shipped off and shared with honored guests. The manuscript was proudly displayed in a wall in a Baltimore parlor. We celebrate the institutions in Baltimore and Washington that have conserved, displayed, and interpreted flag and document throughout the 20th century. After more than a century, the flag is still the centerpiece of our National Museum devoted to America's memory. At the Maryland Historical Society in Baltimore, our document is the focus of an 1812 exhibit that is second to none. And we celebrate Mr. Key's timeless words, 4 verses that not only discover that a garrison flag has survived the chaos of battle, but also describe those stars and stripes as symbols of peace and victory for a new nation that aspires to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. At the start of this busy Star-Spangled Maryland summer, aimed at a bicentennial Baltimore in September, the 170-year-old Maryland Historical Society, founded in part by the 1814 defenders themselves, is very proud to share this special moment with the Smithsonian, the National Capitol, and the nation. Take time out during the next 2 weeks. Visit 2 of America's most important icons together for the first time here in the National Museum of American History's beautiful flag chamber. You will discover that it is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Cumberland. Now, I know we have a lot of people joining us all across the nation, all across the world via our webcast, but I want to take just a little moment to say something to some of the folks we have here. First off, how many people live in this area? That's all I'm going to get, really? All right. How many people are natives of the Washington, D.C. area? Yes, yes, yes. As I'm sure all of you know, we right here in the nation's capital have some of our own regional favorites and local styles, and we certainly appreciate the Star-Spangled Banner. Well, we have a bit of a treat for you today because we have a group with local connections. They're from right up the road in Potomac, Maryland. Anybody from Potomac? Yeah, we got a couple of people. That's great. And as a bonus for you guys, they are actually Smithsonian Folkways Recordings label artists. Smithsonian Folkways supports cultural diversity and increased understanding through sound. And I think that you're going to love the sound that these guys make. They've been featured in concerts, on television, radio, and even on the National Mall during the American Roots 4th of July celebration. I know you're going to love them. Warner Williams and Jay Summerhour are Little Bit of Blues.
Thank you. How y'all doing out there? All right, nice day, nice day.
Lord, I had my fun. If I don't get well, Should I head my fun if I don't get well? My health is failing me. God knows I'm going down. Right to tell my mama, tell her to shake that in. Right and tell my mama, tell her to shake that in. Tell her pray for me. Ask God forgive me for my sin. Don't send no doctor. Doctor won't do me no good. Don't send no doctor. Doctor won't do me no good. Just pray for me and do everything in prayer you Lord, I had my fun. If I don't get well, no. Said I had my fun. If I don't get well, no. My health is failing me. God knows I'm going down. On the next train south, look for my clothes back. On the next train south, look for my clothes back. Ain't gonna cause no trouble. Not gonna reason I'm not gonna moan. When I get the blues, gonna get me a rocking chair. When I get the blues, gonna get me a rocking chair. Gonna rock, rock, mama, gonna rock on the way from here. Got the blues so bad till it hurts my tongue to talk. Got the blues so bad till it hurts my tongue to talk. Got the blues so bad till it I love to hear my baby call my name. I love to hear my baby call my name. Well, she called it so easy and called it so plain. Well, the blues ain't nothing but a poor man feeling bad. I said the blues ain't nothing but a poor man feeling bad. That's the worst old feeling that I believe I ever had. Hurry, mama, bring my lollipop. I said, hurry, mama, and bring my lollipop. I wanna rock with the clock that is good to the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks to a little bit of blues. The Star-Spangled Banner immortalized the bombardment at Fort McHenry in Baltimore 200 years ago. We have citizens of Baltimore joining us online today, right there, and they're from, some of them are from Fort McHenry, the actual site, which is a National Park Service site. They're hosting a watch party. We hope you guys are having as much fun there as we are here. And our next speaker actually represents the people of Baltimore, first as the city's mayor, and now in his second term as governor of Maryland. He's a co-chair of the Council of Governors, was appointed to the first ever such council by President Barack Obama. It is my privilege to introduce to you all today the Honorable Governor, Martin O'Malley.
Thank you very, very much. My name is Martin O'Malley. I'm the governor of Maryland, and it is a great honor to be here with all of you today on behalf of the people of Maryland, people who, in both of our country's wars of independence, played such a central role, not only geographically, not only militarily, but also spiritually, in helping us to realize and to define for ourselves what it meant to be an American. In one of the more poignant stories told of the commissioning of our giant Star-Spangled Banner, when Major Armstead and Sam Smith went to Mary Pinkersgill's home to commission this huge, huge flag. It was sewn together not only by Mary Pinkersgill and her daughters, but also by a young 13-year-old African-American indentured servant girl. Picture that. Black hands, white hands, sewing together the stars and stripes. And I would submit to you that the thread that held that flag together then is the thread that holds it together now. And it is the thread of human dignity, of neighbors helping neighbors, of neighbors believing in neighbors, and believing in what we could accomplish together. 1 out of 5 of the defenders of Baltimore, when that shock and awe force that had leveled Washington turned on our city, 1 out of 5 of the defenders were African-American citizens of a still as yet very imperfect country. 50% of the defenders of Baltimore were immigrants or the sons and daughters of immigrants. But together, without regard to class or race, they dug trenches around our city. They held their ground. They defended this place, our place, the United States. Just as the flag was made stronger by the individual threads, so too is our country today made stronger by the individual threads of each of our stories. Remind your children in this bicentennial year, when we are the first generation of Americans to have experienced attacks on the continental United States. We are the first generation of Americans to have felt what it was like to have our government buildings attacked. Remind your children that freedom is not free, and that our country's greatness is found in one another. That's what the Star-Spangled Banner is about. That's what this commemoration year is about. To tell that story, and to lift every voice, and to sing. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Governor O'Malley, for those words. When Francis Scott Key wrote his famous words, "O'er the land of the free," many people living in the land had no freedom. The march towards rights and equality had come to symbolize the American spirit for generations of people and continue to even today. James Weldon and John Rosamond Johnson immortalized this struggle in a song, a very special song, that has come to be associated with the African American civil rights movement, but whose lyrics speak to folks of all different cultures and backgrounds, much like the words of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Please welcome at this time the composer and conductor, visionary in music education. He's the founder of the national award-winning Young People's Chorus. They won the nation's highest honor for youth programs, the National Arts and Humanities Youth Program Award, and were presented this award by First Lady Michelle Obama at the White House. He's also a MacArthur Genius Fellowship recipient. Mr. Francisco Nunez, to conduct the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Thank you so much, everyone. It is truly great to come together in song with such amazing performances. Here at the National Museum of American History, we have our own very rich musical collections. Prince's guitar, Tito Puente's drums, several Stradivarius strings are all in our collection. And those collections and performances represent all genres and eras of American music. Of course, if you're going to collect and interpret American music, you have to have jazz. And so what I'd like to do for you all today is introduce our orchestra in residence. They are going to help us celebrate the year 1931. Now, this is a very important year, not just because jazz was king in 1931, with venues like the Cotton Club and big bands with exuberant and legendary band leaders like Duke Ellington and others, but also because 1931 is the year that the Star-Spangled Banner was adopted as our national anthem. So don't say you didn't learn anything from this program we have today. So here are the Smithsonian Jazz Masterworks Orchestra under the artistic direction of Charlie Young and executive producer Ken Kimmery, performing for you a jazz classic from that year, 1931, Cab Calloway's Minnie the Moocher. We want to thank Francisco Nunez so much for conducting. I got the opportunity to hang out with him earlier today and yesterday, and he really is amazing, and we really appreciate him coming. So please give him another hand, if you will. Yes. And also, you guys, we have some real brave folks up here on the stage who have been braving this hot sun this whole time. Our choir here is wonderful. Please give them another hand. That was Mambo from West Side Story, conducted by Francisco Nunez, and featuring our choir here, and also featuring our United States Air Force Band. Today, yes, please. Today, the members of the United States Air Force Band and singing sergeants are representing all the men and women of the armed forces who defend our flag and its ideals. Do we have any veterans or military personnel here today and even watching us? Can you please, everyone, if you will, stand and recognize them with a hand? For your service, for your selfless sacrifice, we really want to appreciate that, and to pay tribute to all of our veterans today, especially those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation. Here is Technical Sergeant Daniel Anderson and the United States Air Force Band performing Last Full Measure of Devotion, which will be followed by Irving Berlin's God Bless America.
Long and honored history of America, there are names that shine like beacons in the night. The patriots whose vision gave us meaning, who kept the lamp of freedom burning bright.
the long and honored history of America. There are those who paid the last and final price. They were called upon by chance or desperate circumstance to make the ultimate sacrifice. A grateful nation bows its head in sorrow and in thanks for guaranteeing our tomorrow. The last full measure of devotion, that's what they gave to the cause. The last full measure of devotion, and though they cannot hear our applause, we honor them forever and keep alive their stories, pay tribute to their lives, and give them all the glory. The last full measure of devotion beyond the call of duty were their deeds. The last full measure of devotion, they gave themselves to serve a greater need. And for those who did survive and came back home alive, they joined in praise of comrades who were slain. And highly resolved, most highly resolved, that his dead shall not have died in vain. The last full measure of devotion beyond the call of duty were their deeds. The last full measure of devotion, they gave themselves to serve a greater need. And for those who did survive and came back home alive, they joined in praise of comrades who were slain. And highly resolved, most highly resolved, that his death shall not have died in vain.
All right, everyone. Our national sing-along is almost here. We're just minutes away. I'd like to introduce you to our next guest, who I'm really excited about. She was adopted by a family from Woodstock, but born in Romania, an accomplished member of the tradition of American expression, rock and roll. And I understand that she has a brother on the Capitol Police Force right here in Washington, D.C. Here to prove the words of Woody Guthrie's timeless ode to the American spirit, "This land is your land." Please welcome Kristen Capolino.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I will walk down ribbon a highway, I saw above me that in the skyway I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From the rainbow to the New York Island. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream borders. This land was made for you and me. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. I'd like to ask all of our speakers, all of our guests and performers to join me on stage, please, because it's just about that time for us to sing together. You know, 200 years ago, when the British marched and sailors sailed on Baltimore, Francis Scott Key, a lawyer sent to negotiate a prisoner exchange, was on a British ship and witnessed that attack, the bombardment of Fort McHenry. Imagine how his worry turned to joy in the morning when the smoke began to clear, and high above the fort he saw the red, white, and blue of a hand-sewn wool flag waving strongly, declaring that the young nation was still sovereign. I'd like to invite all of our speakers, as well as all of you here and everyone watching us online, in honor of all those who have served our country, soldiers, officials, teachers, doctors, tradesmen, friends, parents, children, visitors, everyone who appreciates the ideals and cultures of freedom on which we stand, to join with me and all my friends here in song this Flag Day for the 200th year of its existence. Please stand and sing with me the United States National Anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. We want to wish the Star-Spangled Banner a happy 200th birthday, and we hope that there will be 200 more to come, obviously. And I want to thank you all of you watching on our web stream, all of you here today. I'd like to thank all of our partners, including everyone who's on the stage up here with me. Let's give all these wonderful conductors, performers, our men and women in the United States Air Force a big hand. As well as the Smithsonian Institution, our partners here in Washington, D.C., and all across the country. I ask that you please, before you leave, make sure to help keep our wonderful National Mall clean by disposing of your trash in the appropriate places. And if there's trash that doesn't belong to anyone, please do us a favor and pick it up. It will really help out our folks at the Park Service, as well as us here at the National Museum of American History. Once again, my name is Xavier. I thank you all so much for joining us today here, all around the nation and all around the world. Thank you very much, guys, and be good, all right?
saw you. I was like, nobody did. No, I don't want to embarrass I know, I got my fucking this rescue out of this cage.